What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. I am a super happy chappy today because I've got a really good opportunity to hang out with Acedeck and a special guest, which I have not announced in this video. So we've got a live stream with the group guys at Acedeck. So please put in any questions that you may have, because this is a great opportunity to get an insight about Acedeck, their journey, and answer any questions you have. So we've got a representative today from Acedeck. We have got Oliver. So welcome, Oliver.
Hi, Thomas. Hi, guys.
What's up, man? Yeah, I'm super grateful for you coming onto the stream. I'm just going to whack up some smooth background music, which I didn't do. So we'll get ourselves all in the mood. There we go. Now we're vibing.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes, it's like being in an elevator. So yeah, cool. So thank you very much, Oliver, for joining me. So do you want to first of all just introduce yourself, about who you are, your role with Acedeck, maybe how long you've been with the company for?
Oh, okay. So I'm Olivier, out of France, and I've been working with Acedeck since about a year now, a bit more than a year. I was first a customer, but I've been in e-skate for quite a while, and some things here and about with other companies. And I joined with them as a product consulting and marketing coordinator. So I help out with everything marketing and communication, but also I get to help out creating the boards that we love to make, which is amazing as a long-term e-skate fan.
That's cool, man. I was going to say, it's really great to see. I think, is that a philosophy of Acedeck, kind of bringing the right people into the company? Because I've noticed that there's a lot of ex-riders who fall in love with the brand and want to be part of the community as well. So obviously you've been joining with the company for a while now. Have you seen more and more individuals be like taking part and want to be part of the company and part of the journey?
Yeah, I mean, Acedeck themselves, which I learned recently, they're a group of people from China that all used to e-skate or skate together, came from the same schools and the same backgrounds. Some of them even worked for the e-skate companies in the past, and they grouped together to make the company. And then they were looking also for more input from people with knowledge, like on the DIY side, on the longboard side, to make better boards. And that's definitely something they and I try to accomplish, is listening to the right people.
I think it's been really interesting because you say there when we got started that they've obviously been in the scene for a while, because I think that's one thing that's not really promoted enough, and I've not really seen talked about very much, because it's very impressive that Acedeck obviously come out and then also smashing out high quality products straight away. But actually, they've been doing this a long time. So do you want to talk about more about the backstory of where Acedeck have come from, and not just like, let's make a board, off we go, but they've been doing this such a long time?
Yeah. So the founder, Eric, he started the company 2 years ago, but before that he was he worked with different companies, including Propel for a while. And then he wanted to make his own brand, because I think just like you do, after a while of riding so many boards, we all kind of have an idea of what the perfect board would be, you know, what you would want to do. If Thomas, tomorrow you released a brand and you wanted to make a skateboard, I'm sure it'd be pretty good because of all the experience you have. I hope so. And so, you know, when he left, he worked for other companies after that. He went to Egypt and he met some people he wanted to work with, and he said, I want to make my ideal board, which was the RSX1 you can see on the very right of the first screenshot. And I think, you know, the basic of it was CNC, you know, stopping with cast. I think that was the first philosophy, that we don't use cast aluminum anymore. And then it was to achieve a quality gear drive that doesn't cost too much and isn't too heavy. And then a mountain board, because that's something that was lacking, and that's something we all, the team from Acedeck, not just team, but especially our engineers and designers, they all are started in the DIY scene in China. They used to make boards for people or repair boards, and a lot of them were mountain boards. And that's where the background of the Nix comes from, is that he was already making his own mountain board, the designer and engineer.
I think it's really good, because I feel like it's mountain boards as a scene has always been super high, massive, expensive boards, and as a customer, you need a degree in engineering just to assemble one, and that's as a customer's point of view. So I think it's great that you can finally buy a complete mountain board out the box straight away.
Yeah, that's my opinion too. I was waiting for that myself for a while, you know, before I was with Acedeck. That was my hope, because I as much as I like to tinker, I am not a DIY specialist, you know. And the options out there are still decent ones. You know, there's Trempa, there's Apex Predator, that's an amazing other board, but it's still not as ready off the board for most people in the world, you know, out of the box. And also it's a different kind of price, yeah.
Well, say hi to Cincinnati. That's James from Inboard. Yeah. Loving the. I literally live in AcedeckCon. It's literally the hype of the community at the moment right now.
Hi, James.
But yeah,
hi, James.
But yeah, actually, just one thing, just big shout out to James. He actually obviously did a new video on the new Emboard wheels. Look really, really nice. So hopefully we'll see those soon. It'd be cool. But that's why I love to see the compatibility of everything, to see those boards and different boards and stuff like that. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in our special guest, which I haven't spoken about as of yet. Guys, just while you're in the stream, please put any questions in now, because it's probably one of the few opportunities you'll have to ask any questions about the Acedeck journey here, so please put the questions in. Okay, guys. So we are bringing in Mr. Drew Elliott.
Wow!
I know. What's up, guys?
What's up, man? Thank you for joining me, Drew. I really want to get another demographic as well on here, so thanks for joining, Drew. It's really good to see another perspective as well on the kind of Acedeck journey, really, because you've kind of had, you know, a different demographic. Obviously, you've had kind of the racing element as well. So, like, what was your? I can't actually remember off the top of my head. What was the first Acedeck board that you featured on your channel?
So the very first Ace board deck that I featured on my channel was the Aries. So in Vegas, I literally was. I was a fan of Acedeck when Acedeck first came out, the X1, the initial one, and I was blown away by it. I mean, again, at that time, 12S4P was kind of those crazy boards. And when the X1 came out with the 14S4P, the CNC trucks, like Oliver said, is that not having any of those forged parts or cast parts or anything like that, it was just mind blowing. And you know, it was one of those things where it was those talked about things. So yeah, a little burnout there. Yeah. So when I tried to communicate with them, was trying to work with them, and then finally we got linked up together, and we got to, you know, with the Nomad, they wanted to release the Nomad at EskateCon last year, the N1. And due to Hong Kong's shipment and customs and stuff like that, sadly enough, the boards didn't arrive until the Monday we left. Literally, the Monday we left,
it was crazy.
The boards arrived there. So, so my very first time was actually riding the X1 in Vegas. Was my very first time, and I, you know, placed second on it in there. So it's shows how well the boards are performing and how everything like that goes. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those boards that it's a premium product, and I heard you say ask any questions. This is the time where I say urge anyone in the comments here to ask any hard questions as well too. I mean, Oliver,
welcome to ask anything.
Yeah, we've had conversations where, you know, it's that that serious amount of hard. You know, it's hard. It's hard for e-skate companies to be able to appease everyone, right? You know, you have a customer that has a bad experience, they just start blasting it out. I think Acedeck's customer service especially is second to none. They really do step in, and you guys really do correct things. I mean, I've gotten parts shipped to me where stuff hasn't even broken on my board, but you guys are like, hey, we've had a few customers complain about this. We've gone back to the board. We redesigned something. Here is something just for free shipped out to you. And I know it's insane. I think that's a fantastic you know, part of what Acedeck represents.
Yeah, for us, it's like one of the main keys. Without good customer service, we felt like it was never going to work out, especially jumping in where all the companies were already, you know, Meepo was big, X-Way was big, and then your balls like Lagpro and everything. If you come in and you don't have the best customer service, it's not possible.
Very true.
To be honest, that being said, actually, I don't know about you, Drew, obviously from a non-company aspect, I feel like that is, I suppose, the underrated king of the market. How many companies we see which maybe make okay products, but the customer services are outstanding, which means we come back again and again. So that brings the economy in. What are you saying about the accessories as well? I've got a question for you. We've obviously the mountain board scene that's been quite strong in the UK. My question is, why hasn't Acedeck offered bindings as an accessory for their mountain board?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah. That's a good question. So we considered it offering with the Nixie, obviously. From the first day we released it, you know, we looked when we made it, we looked at the possible off-the-shelf bindings that were available, and none of them were good. Obviously, the MBS bindings are amazing, but they're MBS bindings, and then the Trempa bindings are not so bad either, but they're Trempa bindings, and everything you can buy and then offer as an accessory For example, the Sun-made bindings, they're just not the quality we wanted that would match the board. Like we didn't feel like we would be able to offer something. And then there's the possibility that we're considering of making them ourselves, but that's an entirely different project, you know. And that's why, for example, Power to Evolve, for their bindings, they look pretty good, but they had to make them themselves. And that's a big step. The company is pretty young, so we'll look into it. For now, we decided we'll pre-drill the decks and we let the consumer find the ideal bindings for him, which we still advise today as the MBS F5. They're amazing. I myself have the Trempa bindings because they color match the board. I was able to get the right
anodizing. It's more important.
I know, exactly, of course. But for now, we just prefer to have no bindings than bad bindings on the board.
Yeah, that's a really fair point. And I think that's a really transparent answer as well.
Yeah, that's a fantastic answer. I didn't think about that. I mean, you're right. Why make especially coming from Acedeck's background, like why make a subpar product, you know, if you can't make it perfect in the way that you guys want it, and if someone else is making something that is a little bit better or something that, you know, is available that you guys love, just point in that direction. Makes sense.
The offer was option for sure.
James has a question. Sin City has a question here. It actually looks
I saw that. I was going to throw it in there now. So what's the question here? Here's my question. We're two parts. Part one. Acedeck has come out with a lot of models. Are they just friend us?
That's a good question. I like it. To be honest, a part of it, the answer would be yes. You know, when you're starting a new company and you want to survive, you need to have some models that do well. And to be honest, we did try to see what would be, you know, what market we could enter. I would say that would though only be true for the product categories and not the products themselves. So for example, it looks like we have many boards, but in essence, we have 3 boards. We have the Nix, the RS, and the Nomad. And then the Stella series, which is more of an entry-level board for people who want a little board on the side, which is still good quality, but it's not, you know, the thing we're pushing the most. And from the RS, Nomad, and Nix, we then branch them in different categories. For example, the RS, there is the X3 if you wanted direct wheels. For the Nomad, there's the 2-in-1 if you wanted street wheels with gear drive. So we have a wide range of boards, but you can kind of group them in 3 main boards. And you know, and then we are able to see, people really like street wheels, so we'll continue with the street wheels. Or you know, people really like mounted boards, but some are asking for more comfort, some are asking for lighter weight, so we'll make smaller batteries for less weight, even if it's less range. And that's how we want to please everyone, but also be able to find something that allows us to survive the next coming years, you know?
Yeah. So I've got a follow-up question on that. Obviously, I'll be honest, obviously you've got a range of different products, different boards as well, and then you've got sub-tiers within those or different configurations of battery size and stuff like that. This is really a hard question, so sorry about this one, but how can you maintain the quality with such a wide demographic of offerings? Is it built into the product specification? So when we make the Nix, whatever, we have it in mind that we want to have a variety of different battery options and motor options and to be able to facilitate that. So is it having a framework and an ecosystem within each board to comfortably keep the quality and also have the availability for what they need?
It's that, but it's also, so yes, to say what you just defined, it is this framework makes it easy for us to come up with incremental upgrades and create different categories of boards. But I think, and that's credit to the team before I joined them, Acedeck has an amazing relationship with their battery maker. They have an amazing relationship with their CNC factory, you know, and they recently switched to another CNC factory for better quality. And this allows them to have very fast-paced evolution of their boards. Like we don't wait 2 years or 1 year to come up with a better solution to a thing. Sometimes we even go from one batch to another, and then the previous batch will ship them the better version. And I think we're not a boutique brand, right? But we are able to act a little bit in that way because all the factories that we work with are very close to our offices and our assembly factory. And we're able to get quick, samples and quick parts that we can improve upon them very quickly and not wait too long. So it's like, for our engineer and our designer, he's always saying it. He has so much fun because he has an idea. The next day, we can have a sample. In 3 days, he can make a complete board. And maybe in 1 week, if we all like it, we can decide, let's make that. It's fun. We love it, you know. And that's how we keep the quality because we have this relationship with these factories. Yeah.
That's really nice. That's really clutch to be able to have that quick turnaround time, especially in R&D and development. And that's a really interesting.
I know.
feature.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that honestly. So.
Yeah. And to finish on it,
this is what's so good about the stream, about talking about these questions, guys. So keep throwing them in. We're getting to insight while we can, you know.
And to finish on this question, I think the people expected, I think, Acedeck to be another brand from China that works with all these other brands together, but we are very independent. Like we do all our own thing together. It's our CNC design, it's always our parts and our designers, and then we collaborate sometimes with other people, but it's that we are as independent as a boutique brand company. So that's why we're able to do all this.
I would say that, you know, it stands out obviously differently, especially with your CNC parts, especially with your ESCs as well too. I mean, you guys have these custom ESCs that are, and I see that, I think James put that in there as like, the question is, how do you keep your boards so cheap yet so powerful? And I mean, can you speak on that a little bit? Like, where are you guys going to the factory? You guys custom, like, is there someone that's in, like Eric or anyone on the team that's building these things out of a VESC-based system and then transferring it over to like a more mass-produced ESC? Like, how does that work in there?
So for the VESC part, I'm not sure what you mean, but for the first part, wait, can you repeat the first part of the question? I got lost with the VESC thing.
It's okay. Yeah. So it's like, how do you guys design like an ESC for yourselves and in-house and then go to a hobby wing, or like do you design something on a VESC-based system? Like, do you sit there with the ESC? Okay. Yeah.
Oh, so if it's a ESC specific question, it's not Hobby Wing, but it is a company that started 2 years ago that doesn't really have a name because they just do custom designs from us and I think two other companies that I'm not able to name. It's not Hobby Wing. The difference is, for example, Hobby Wing doesn't have a 14S battery, ESC, sorry. And is not able to go to that amount of amps. So that's why we went away from Hobby Wing to be able to get the power we need. And then they listen to our feature request, and then the other people that work with them that have their own custom design that end up very different, they're able to do it for them. But we start with the, in-house in the factory. We have many types of ESCs that we test and have fun with. And then indeed, yes, once we have the curves that we like on a VESC system or even on an old system, because a non-VESC system can still be customized in a way that customers can't have access to with the proper software. Right. And then we're able to send this firmware changes to the ESC company.
They kind of posted a question here, which is the second part of James's question here. How do you keep the ball so cheap?
Yeah, that's exactly. That's the question I thought you were asking at first. First, the answer is, the very first part of the answer is easy. China. It's not the same at all manufacturing costs. So that's why we have a lot of admiration for all the non-Chinese companies that are able to survive all these past years, or a lot of respect for those that haven't, but like Hoyt, M-boards now, of course, it's much harder for them because the production cost, if they make it in America, is much more expensive. But I think it's because we have this exclusive relationship with, for example, our CNC factory. They're not e-skate factories, they are CNC machines, and we're able to show them that we're going to be successful, because that was the hard part, when you're making your first product, is to making them trust you in saying, we will be able to pay this, we will be able to make more of that, But from my experience when I was in China, I think that goes through having meetings with all our partners almost every week. Like my colleagues and myself, when I was there, we went to visit our CNC factory at least once or twice a week to see how it was going, to see what's working. And those close relationships, they allow us, of course, to get lower prices. And then because we are based in China, we're able to make deals with Chinese companies or Taiwanese companies a bit harder. But the main reason is that we are not making them in Europe and America.
Yeah.
So I got a little bit of a follow-up question on something you said earlier, but you didn't highlight at the time, was you saying we're not a boutique company. But the thing is, and I spoke to Drew about this the other day, back in the day, 3-4 years ago, a boutique board company would be something like Require Cali, Hoyt, stuff like that, which have massive battery, CNC trucks, and it's a rocket. What within that aren't you doing in your boards?
For me, maybe my definition is wrong. Definition is wrong. For me, boutique means that you make everything in-house. Everything.
Right, okay. But then isn't that what you're doing still anyway? Isn't that what you're doing as well?
For example, Hoyt would mold their decks themselves. They would make their own battery structure. We are working with a deck factory to make the deck we want, right? We're not making the plies and molding the wood ourselves. And I think boutique is where it's entirely you from the beginning to the start, with some exceptions. For example, Hoyt is not making the ESC, right? They're working with the ESC factory, a VASC factory. But that's why I say we're not boutique, but we're almost there, in the sense that the more we grew the past few years, the more we are doing everything ourselves, and hopefully even more soon. You know, the CNC is all us, all the designs, the decks is us, the tires, we're able to have our own tires now, you know, produced by Hoyt, but our design. And the more we continue that way, you know, for the gear drives, I think the most important part is made by us. And the development of the 9-inch wheels, we've been struggling, but we're trying to get there, because all the samples we get out of 9-inch wheels are not what we want them to be.
Such a tank. Like, I just, obviously there's a market, and obviously this individual wants it, and there's obviously people out there. 9-inch. Who wants a tank? Honestly, it's crazy.
Oh, there are so many people. Many people. I think once a week I get 2 people asking me, when do we get 9-inch wheels? Or many people.
I mean, I get it. If you're doing off-roading, if you're doing e-trekking, like if
trekking,
you're going
that's the one.
like e-trekking, so like that's like, it's not off-roading. You're going e-trekking. You have no idea what potentially is ahead of you.
Exactly.
That 9-inch tire makes sense, because you can have that clearance even more so. Even though I commend you guys from iteration to iteration. You know, we're just reviewers. We really don't have too much input to what you guys are. Obviously, we tell what we like and what feels underneath there. And but like the iteration to iteration, the gear drive system alone, how you made that like that 30% smaller and that better ground clearance, not even by adjusting the tire or anything like that. You just literally just to make a smaller, better product with the heat-treated steel gear system. With the, 30% reduction in that alloy casing there. It's it isn't a testament to your CNC machine and your skills and stuff like that you guys are listening to. You're like, hey, if someone did want to put a smaller tire on here, maybe we give them a little bit more ground clearance, or let's leave it with the 180 on there and see have that much better of a ground clearance. So I mean, taking the Z3 off road was an absolute dream. And I mean, the X3, the X3, but the X1 with the new Element gear drive is my go-to. And I tell people, I rode that in New York City for 30 miles, that if I can ride that thing on street wheels in New York City for 30 plus miles and have like a few scratches in the bottom there, then you're set in that sense. I truly think that's fantastic. Yeah, I see Scott's riding it there.
The gear drive progression is one of the things we're the most proud of. I still like our V1. The very first gear drive we made was for the Knicks. But they were so big, and the 30% is the 30%.
But they were silent. Silent.
I know, so quiet. The 30% is over the gear drive from last year, which I think was itself 40%.
Oh wow.
Or 30% also from the Knicks Z1. So from the first Knicks to now, it's like at least 50% smaller. And I think a lot of the 9-inch request to 9-inch tire is for the people who have the older gear drives with less clearance. Of course, they would like to have more clearance with the 9-inch.
I
just want to do a quick fire, answer a couple of questions, because I want to make sure I get these answers in. So I'm going to go through a couple of questions, guys, and then we'll go back onto the interview. So here's a really interesting one, obviously based here. So what was that one? This one here. Yeah. So not that one. Sorry, this one. Sorry, there we go. Are you worried about? I feel like, for me, how fast Acedeck are moving, this shouldn't be a factor. But is there any concerns with intellectual property rights being compromised or stolen with the products you make?
I feel like in e-skate, it's a bit hard to claim much of anything other than visual designs in terms of gear drive, suspensions, deck shape, battery weight, battery technology. Most of the electric skateboard development from the very start has been based on existing technologies. Like, no one's inventing anything so much right now, other than, for example, when people made, like, for example, the new Propel truck. That's something that they should patent or make something unique, because that's something very unique. But original suspension trucks that we have, that Propel has or Baja board has, that's something that is a direct translation from car technology, RC car technology, and most of e-skate is built like this. So the philosophy also is different in each country and for each company. but there's not that many incredibly unique features in any of the boards on the market that anyone should be worried too much about intellectual property, other than visual design or branding, you know.
Yeah. So basically, if your representation is probably the most important factor, I suppose, at this point, because you know it's so there's so much market out there at this point. You know, it's just adapting it into making it more refined. And I suppose it's like that's the hard bit. It's like, are we copying or improving? Like, you know, I've noticed some boards in the past, and I'm just going to say it. I don't care. Is like, for example, the Meepo Flow is an amazing board.
Oh,
but it looks like
that's a good example. Yeah, but it is a Stoke.
It doesn't need to look like a Stoke. It doesn't benefit in any way. It's its own individual really good board. So I feel like sometimes doing these things hinder the product because it's a really good board.
Agreed. Fully agreed.
Which doesn't need to look like a Stoke in any way.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point.
That's a good call out.
Sorry, I just want to see if everyone.
Thank you, Sam.
Just so, that's James again.
Thank you, James.
So thanks, James. There's a user one as well. Will there be a remote which will be able to give you some kind of telemetry of the BMSs coming?
Remy, hi Remy. Remy's great. He's the one who did the video for the Z3, the promo video. A great video guy.
Nice.
So the remote is a big question we're always getting, because our remote is pretty basic in feature. We still like it. We still think it's a very stable remote. It works well. It's durable. But we've been working on making a more feature-packed remote, like the ones you've been seeing from other companies. We're a bit late on that because, again, for now we're happy with the stability of what we have. But more battery access. Exactly, but if you mean by BMS access, if you mean more information for cell balancing, etc., that's something we can already do. We for now we only show overall voltage of the battery. But yes, it's something we can do where you have much more information from the battery. I think there has been so many issues in the past from companies or DIY boards where balancing was such a big problem that people are still a bit afraid of what goes on now. But if you look into it the past years or two, not just from our brand, it's very hard to find a battery that has balancing issues because the cell quality has gotten better. No one is using the cheap ones we used to use. And you don't even need a balancing BMS per se. It's better, but just saying, we will for sure consider having the voltage of each individual cell and packs, but for now, the all you can see is the overall voltage of the battery.
Which, personally, for me, I think that's totally fine. Yeah, no, I think I agree. I think that I personally I know there's 10 bars up there, and you can based on the 10 bars. But when I'm riding, especially in long distances, I'll click and flip over to voltage and look at my voltage reading. I know on a 14S, I know at 58 volts, I'm full charged. At this many volts, I'm halfway down, and then so on and so forth. And of course, it's smart enough to know that it tells you the voltage warning. Like I was out in the woods the other day, I was on the Z3, and I was getting close to 25%. And said like, hey, you're at 25%. I said, oh, okay. And like that's just a good knowledge to know that you guys have that in there. And I like the remote personally. I think it's comfortable. It is the same design as your other iterations, but people always want more, and I think that you guys, if you do come out with the remote, I'm sure it will be absolutely fantastic.
Thank you, Drew.
I just want to say one thing, and I want to throw in a really important question I just saw just now. I don't know about you, Drew, and this is kind of between both of you, this one. I'm loving more and more of these Chinese companies realizing the impact of collaboration, how it benefits everyone. So, like, obviously, and obviously, Drew, you've featured these with the Acedeck Mad E-skate wheels. How are these things coming around? Because I feel like there's this protectiveness of like, oh, I can't work with you, I can't do my own thing because it's risking, exposing my secrets. But I'm loving seeing more and more these collaborations put in place and benefiting everyone. I feel like there's been a real turnaround with that kind of culture now. So how's that come about?
So it goes back to what we said before about not being able to always deliver what we wish we could. So for example, I personally think the Mad Wheels are the best e-skate street tire on the market. I like orangutans, I like that board, but to me the Mad Wheels were always the best one. And the wheels we are offering with our boards by default, they're good, they're good enough. The one you get on the 2-in-1 Nomad before the collaboration, they were normal good street wheels, the ones you'd find on the other street wheel boards you would buy. But when we make a product like the X1 or the Nomad Street, we're really loving the street wheel aspect of riding. We want to make an amazing street wheel board. And if we make an amazing street wheel board, we have to pair it with amazing wheels. We can't just pair it with an off-the-shelf wheel that we would usually have, like the one you would see on the image there. That's the normal ones. So that's where we contact those companies, the same way Boosted has done in the past. Boosted wasn't able to make a good truck, so they contacted Caliber. They were not able to make a good wheel, so they contacted Orangutan, If one day we can make a collaboration with MBS to have their bindings on our boards, that'd be amazing. But that's usually how it goes. We just want to make the best boards. And if you want to make the best boards, you can't have, cheap parts. You can have CNC amazing trucks and then a cheap wheel, right?
Yeah. I think you nailed it with that. You're saying that, hey, we can't make the best bindings out there. We can't make the best wheels out there yet. So go and get them. Go get the best wheels. Go get the best bindings and be able to provide that for customers. I think you guys nailed that. I agree. I think Mad's one of the best wheels.
For the bushings, right?
The bushings.
That's something we hopefully. I know. That's something we're working on. Exactly.
But that's perfect in that sense. Is that Riptide's out there, Venoms are out there. There's other companies out there that specifically make them, and they're fantastic. And it's not that I have a problem with off-the-shelf bushings. It's just that especially when it comes to my ride
that's what
style,
it is.
I'm spoiled, and I say in almost every video that you don't realize how much a bushing changes a complete ride feel of any board. Everything. It's just you can dial it into your weight, your ride style, everything like that. And it's not that you guys don't have them, but when I said in my video, the N3 video, is that when it came in, it was completely like this soft, squishy mess.
Yeah, it was the wrong one, but yes, it was. For sure.
And you shipped them out. You guys shipped them out.
I say it myself when I get one of our boards to test, or I just switch the bushings immediately. I also have a big Riptide pack, and it's obvious. We're not able yet to get a good partnership with a good or to make our own amazing bushings. Riptide is just that amazing. They're just really, really good at what they do. So even our customers, we tell them, you're welcome to immediately get a good set of bushings.
It is.
But the goal is to make more partnerships, like you mentioned, Thomas. If we are able to make more partnerships to improve our boards, that's the way we should do it. Yeah.
It just helps everyone.
It's a win-win for the market. Yeah.
100%. User gets a better experience. There's also reputation as well. So obviously with Maddie, Skate, come with you guys, you've got a blend there, then you work together and everyone improves. Right, I'm going to throw up. So we've got some really good questions, guys. So keep throwing them in. I'm going to do a quick fire some questions and then we'll go back to the chain. Where do you come up with the names with the boards? Because I've said this before, and I've kind of joked around this with Drew. It's like battleships at times. It's like the Z3, and
I know. So I think the question you're really asking is why are we doing these names, not how. For the Nomad and Nix and RS, we get some good suggestions from people we know and good friends. But for the Z1, Z2, Z3, N1, N3, X1, X3, I feel like we could have done that better, in my opinion, as my personal opinion at Acedeck. I feel like it's confusing not because the name is long, but because N3 sounds like the next generation of the Nomad, right? Z3 sounds like it's the next Z1. But no, they are two independent products that we are still developing and improving. There will be a future Z1 2025 at some point, And I guess some customers believe, the N1 was amazing, the N3 is better. It's a better board, but it's not the next upgrade. It is just a different board. So I guess we should have a better naming system, but now it's a bit hard to get away from it. That's why we skipped the 2, so it doesn't sound like it's the iPhone 2 or
the direct iteration
exactly. Of it. Yeah. So we're a bit stuck there, but we can do better with the names. I love the name Nomad RS Nix, but
I agree. I love them.
Yeah, that's cool. Do you know what? And I'm going to say this now on my stream. I'm going to own it. My channel name is not changing because of that board. By the way, just so you know, there's a story behind it which I'll share for another thing. But we never made a link. By the way, Nomad is a very generic word. It's fine, man. I didn't even think about it. No one said that. But there's a long story behind it.
I think Drew told me. You wanted to change your channel name to Drew Ares or Drew Nix or something like
that?
Yeah.
Drew Nix. It's a weird one. I know.
It's cool. Yeah.
It's Z3.
Yeah.
Right. What else?
So I have a question here. So with the development of the N1, and I covered it on my channel and stuff like that, but that ESC was the 90 amp ESC, and it was so incredibly powerful in S plus mode to the point of almost a fault in some people's aspects. And then going to the N3, what obviously you guys did you like, was it directly from the customers that you were like, this is too powerful off the line, this is too much? And was it something that you were like, I mean, I warned people.
That's that greed again, Drew.
I did. I had people that were jumping on the N1, and they're like, yo, what's the top mode? I said, don't go in the top mode. And they're like, no, I got this. Like, please don't go in the top mode. I had a friend who literally ate shit. He wrote it and literally went 25 feet and just like fell off of it because he was like wasn't prepared for it. And I just think that. So my question is what was it directly from the customers that you were like, this is too much power off the line, too much everything off the line, that you guys went to a linear kind of more like, let's get the mid to highs and really pull it all the way through?
I think, it was absolutely from the customer feedback, but it was more, thanks to them, a realization of that we went at it wrong. When we made the N1, we really wanted to make a race performing board. It wasn't, the RS and the Nix had a normal curve, no one had a complaint with the acceleration of the original Z1 or the original RS. So it's not like a mistake or something. I mean, it's not like an accident. It was just a purposeful mistake in a sense. We wanted to make a very quick off-the-line board. And then we were afraid that because it's so quick, we need a bigger dead zone so people don't accidentally go too quick. So quicker board, bigger dead zone. And then the feedback was the board is too quick, the dead zone's too big. And we're like, I guess people, even if they buy a race board, they still want to use it safely and every day. And we just realized we went a little wrong. Also, the curve could have been better from the start. For sure, there is some unexpected behavior that in testing, I or the team never realized. The first people who told me was one of my very good friends from where I live. I got to know, man, I love it. I was testing it and I was very fine with the way it acted. I'm used to off the line quick boards. I'm used to racing myself, in every situation. And he tasted it and he was like, yeah, I don't like it. This is not good. And we went back to the drawing board. And for the Z3, for the N3, but also for all the boards we are making now, including the N1, it comes with a very different firmware. Since early 2020, since December last year, if you buy an N1 now, it doesn't have the firmware that you guys had when you tested the board.
Okay.
So we don't only change the next boards, we also change the firmware from the ESCs that we are delivering now for all those boards too. But it was customer feedback and we were very thankful for it. Some people were very angry, as they should, if they felt in danger,
it was a lot. I mean, it was a lot. So just a quick side note there, is that something that you can customize with the old N1? Can I go back with the old N1 and flash that firmware up to it?
So flashing is hard because you need a specific cable and everything. So it's not something we can do easily to customers. The parameters settings. Exactly can be changed, but from the feedback we got, some people still were not happy even after the setting change, because the setting, they changed the acceleration line, but they don't change the dead zone amount. That's stock. It's not something you can change through the settings. So for some people, it's not ideal. I still get people today that tell me I'm still completely fine with the original ESC. I like it. I like the off-the-line power. S Plus for me also, like I think you said, Drew, S Plus for me has to be hard to control. Why have a mode that's easy? You should always have, something a bit more dangerous. Like if you push a Ferrari off the line, most people will crash at the first, turn. So, but still, the S Plus mode in our new boards, it comes also weaker, but people can change it, like you said in your review. They can make it strong again if they want a crazy S Plus. So we just accepted the feedback, So if people have the old ESC now, change the acceleration, put it to the minimum, change the power output. You can change the power output for each individual mode. You can change the power output as a general setting. You can change the acceleration line, the top speed, and then you get almost where the new ESC is. But
That's perfect. Yeah, that's a fantastic answer, because I had people that were buying the board coming to me and afterwards they're like you weren't joking. Like this is rocket. I said I wasn't. I said I was very serious when I said I was like with a very big warning. Like I've ridden a lot of boards, powerful boards, not so powerful boards. I was like, and this is one of the boards that scared me when I first got on it. I was like, oh, that's a lot.
This has happened to me too. A few people that were very confident because they have boards with maybe 200 AESC DIY with insane specs, you know, and I tell them, please, the settings are strong and the board is stronger than it looks. I've had people test the Nomad and the Nix with a 90 AESC, and they'd be like, Acedeck is lying. It has to be 180. It has to be 90 per motor. There's no way this is a 90 AESC. And this is just because the overall settings, but also the gear drive to motor collaboration is just very strong on our boards, the cell we use. So people don't expect that amount of power for also a Chinese board, right? So they think we're still in the old days where the only the DIY is fast and the pre-build is weak, but we're not there anymore.
I agree. For sure. I think that's really important that you say about because it is a maturity thing as well. Is like it needs to be. We're individuals who, you know, we're in a niche community within a niche market within niche, right? So I think it's very important that over the, you know, the whole scope of the industry, that the board comes out accessible for everyone. So I think it's really important. But so throwing here a bit of a challenging one here. So someone said they've gone to the website and they got immediately had to go for personal. I'm going to say this as well. I had the same thing, and do you know what? We're going to keep saying because I had the same thing evolve. It took me about 20 seconds, which ain't a long time, to just click X's to get onto navigating things. So how do you find to get the balance between obviously helping people with the product and then go from there?
Yeah. So first off, I don't think it was asking for your personal information other than your email. You can consider it personal information, but if you're gonna buy a board, you're gonna be giving a lot more than your email. You're gonna be giving your name, your address, your credit information. The pop-up, if it's annoying, we can consider removing it, but it's a very usual thing to go on any website. I'm sure even all the brands we love around us, if you go on their website, they'll say, if you join our newsletter, you get 50% of your next purchase. It's a win-win usually. If a pop-up is annoying, maybe we can make it less intrusive, maybe not in the center of the screen. But I wouldn't consider an email personal information. If that's,
I would say moving it over or down to the right,
to the bottom. I think,
not as intrusive would be something.
For sure.
I do the same thing. I check the website daily just for stupid things on my own, and it's one of those things where it pops up right away. I just click it. For me, it's just click it away. Put my pop-up.
But maybe we can have it at the bottom.
That's great.
And it's very important, guys, for these controversial. That's the thing. This is the question as well. We don't want people, and this is what I say about the feedback on. I don't know about you, Drew, on my video. With an element of let's be fair here, but critical feedback and fair feedback is really important because I don't want someone to say, "Oh, your website's perfect" or "Your video is perfect." That's not helping. And so it's about that balance. Let's have the compliment sandwich. It looks, high res images of that, but being bombarded. How do I do that?
I hate this myself.
Help people, but not smother them. It's all balanced. But I suppose with that comment, just please, I suppose be aware you are being heard. Let's talk about it, and it's refining it. I think that's really good. So thanks for the comment. It's really important.
I would say that especially with you guys on your Facebook group, that if someone goes up there and posts something within less than an hour, you guys are on that thing, commenting back as a customer service rep saying, "So sorry about the experience. Let's go ahead and talk about this." And then the day later, that guy's coming back going, "They helped me out. Everything's fine. Thumbs up." It's one of those things where you guys are very, very vocal in the community, especially the Acedeck community on the Facebook page. That you guys are always constantly in there talking to and commenting with and explaining what it was. So I definitely agree to that one. There was one on here, I think this is 4-wheel gear drive.
Literally my next one I've going to. I'm surprised you guys haven't I suppose there's been 4-wheel drive gear rides, obviously I think we're speaking quite openly about the X-Ray Atlas, stuff like that, I suppose, but it's the cost factor. With the bio board that I've got, it's 2 complete boards in one. And obviously, X3 boards and 2 gear drive kits, and then 2 CNC trucks, CNC trucks. That sort of it. It's a cost factor, isn't it?
It's a cost factor, but it was also for a while a size factor, a weight factor. We had a 4-wheel drive board before, a belt-driven 4-wheel drive board. So you can see it on the right here if they see the same screen as me.
Get the areas. I'll get it up.
We had a 4-wheel drive board, but we haven't had a 4-wheel drive gear-driven board yet because we didn't feel like our gear drive were small enough. We're almost there. I think we are already there. I don't think we're gonna make an RS 4-wheel drive soon, but it's possible we'll consider making a Nix 4-wheel drive soon. We're just, trying to reduce the weight of our boards, because off-road, you can have the best trucks on the market, the best rear-driven power. 4-wheel drive is just something else. I've had 4-wheel drives off-road before. That control that you get over e-trail, how do you call this? E-trailing?
Yeah,
e-trex is just like it doesn't matter how strong your ESC is, 4-wheel drive off-road is something else, especially in grass, sliding, stuff like this. So we really have a 4-wheel drive one. Yeah. And then, like Thomas said, it's 2 boards in one. And as reliable as our boards can be, if we're not, for example, satisfied with some of the motors or stuff like this, if you're buying a 4-wheel drive board, you're getting 4 times more parts that can have an issue, or 4 times the expense, or stuff like this. So, when we feel confident that we can make...
Is that not...
is a 4-wheel drive. We have one in a way. So it's for people who want to upgrade the original RSX one. We didn't make a gear drive for it because we were focused on better things. The very first RS, but Lean Power made one compatible for our board, so we advertised it so that our very OG customers can still have gear drives.
I've ridden 4-wheel drives, and I don't know if I see the benefits in it. I mean, I rode the Atlas Pro 4-wheel drive when it first came out, the belt drive, and it's nice, but I feel like with something like what you guys have produced with the new ESCs, I don't think on road, I don't think you need all of that power all over the place. I think it's almost.
But you lose range as well, so it's the
range.
Not that much anymore. But it's not about power. So that's what I first thought before I had the RSX1 4-wheel drive, and then on the boards, I was like, I don't need that power. But I think that's the future of racing. The grip you get off the corners is incredible. When you're entering a corner and then you're exiting a corner and then braking, it is another type of experience. And you got a lot more. You'll see, I think, at this SkateCon this year, more and more 4-wheel drive racing boards, very lightweight, super small motors. You don't need a lot of power, so you take smaller motors, so you gain weight. I don't know if Post Toast is watching now, but he's one of the DIY people with an amazing 4-wheel drive racing board. And I think for me, it's like I said, when you're exiting a corner and you got the front wheel taking action, and you don't have to wait for the rear wheels to be there, it's a different feeling. And the braking also, when you're braking very hard on two-wheel driven board, you can have a braking wobble. Not a speed wobble, a braking wobble. It's very hard to get that, or almost impossible, I'd say, with a 4-wheel drive board. So also as a safety thing, it's amazing. But weight for me is the big factor. So if we can have this hole much smaller, you don't need 4 massive motors if you are 4-wheel drive. Yeah. It's better to take smaller motors, smaller everything, to have that grip action. James said the same thing, exactly. That's the future.
What about the X3? How about X3? What's
so that's an exciting one.
You said this is your wish list, isn't it? We've spoken about this, Jerry.
No, this is the X3. In my opinion, is and Oliver and I have said this before, where it's my underdog favorite board of the year. It was one of those ones that slipped in under the radar but it is still to this date one of my favorite just street performing boards out there. I think that it's amazing. The all-wheel drive, it's just so smooth, so quiet, so stable, so fast, and the range is killer. I think it's
the free wheeling, the free rolling, right?
Free rolling. I kick push this thing all over the place. I customize it. It's staying in my arsenal. It's one of those things. Yeah, there you go.
I've got some good news.
Wait. Yeah. Oh no, wrong one. No, even worse.
We don't want to see. We don't want to see your face.
I'm on the screen share. That's why I can't do it.
Who's that?
Oh Jesus! There we go. I've ruined it now. I've gone too far. There we go. No, there we go. Right, go, Oliver, go. Right,
so before the good news, I'd say we love the X3. We don't feel like it's the perfect board though when we were making it, in the sense that I don't think a street wheel only board should be carbon fiber. I think it's better if it's wood, if it's street only. I think the motors, they're good. I think we can find better. We can have better motors. It was also one of the last collaboration we had where This was more of not a co-design product. It was still us, but we were partnering with another company. And now we are trying to make it just like every other board we have. That would be the last one where it's really only us. We are redesigning it, making a new one. Hopefully, it will be out at some point this year. That's the first time we're saying it, and I hope no one's mad at me from my team listening this. Hopefully, it will be wood. The goal
see this hand come out.
Yeah, good point. Or just shut off. So we are still working. Like we have still no idea if it's going to be wood or carbon fiber again. I'm hoping it's going to be wood. If it's carbon fiber, it's going to be thinner. If it's going to have stronger split angles, better trucks, better motors, Mad Wheels collaboration. Hopefully, we can make it happen again.
Nice.
And then it's going to be an even better RSX3.
Yeah.
And it's going to be called RSX28. I'm kidding. Yeah.
Perfect. That's good. That's perfect.
You should put in that. Do you know what? It'd be cool to see this. They said put out like a community thing. Next brand board. What should we put it out there? What could it be?
Exactly.
Community.
It's probably still going to be called X3, but X3 2025, the new X3, right? But yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, Drew, I'm as excited as you because when I got the X3, my mind was blown. Before joining Ace, like that's the only DIY board I was wanting to make was a 4-wheel drive, direct drive board, and I never got to make it. And then when they told me they were considering making one, I was like, okay, yeah, please.
It was funny because when it was we were discussing it at last year's Eastgate Con. They're like, where they sent us over these things, and they're like, "What do you think about this board?" And I was like, "Is that a 4-wheel drive, direct drive board?" And they're like, "Yeah." But I was like, "That's fucking brilliant." And my only experience with it actually at that given time was Transite, which is the first time I ever rode a 4-wheel drive, direct drive board. Was Transite had their boards there, and I just couldn't believe how quiet and how powerful it was, even off the line. I was like, I was way more surprised than, because people, they talk, like, especially in DIY industry and stuff like that, they're like, oh, direct drive is not the best drive system out there. Gear drive, belt drive, those are the tops. And I was like, oh, okay. But then I hopped on Transite's board, and I was like blown away by it. I hopped on the race, blown away by it. And I was like, what are people talking about? And then when the X3 came out, I was like, this is exactly what I wanted. Is that super sleek design and just incredibly powerful. I think it's actually one of the good. It was a super powerful. I mean, I hit like 38 miles an hour on this thing without.
Yeah, you was raving about it because we have our little prize. It's like, dude, like, this thing is unbelievable.
Yeah, I know, and it's because 2-wheel drive, direct drive, for me, they just don't. I mean, I haven't tried a race 2-wheel drive. I know they have a 2-wheel drive and a 4-wheel drive, but to me, direct drives, other than the race, which I haven't tried, they just don't work in 2-wheel drive because they're not powerful yet to get you off the line or brake as strong enough. Like even in 4-wheel drive, we are almost matching the braking and acceleration capacity of the Nomad, but we're not there yet. So direct drive, in my opinion, I'd say suck in 2-wheel drive. It's very hard to make them work. They overheat. And they just don't have the capacity to do the same thing as their belt or gear drive brothers, which is a shame. So most people, when they hear direct drive, for good reason, they're like, why? And so when we released the X3, I had to write an article to explain exactly why this is amazing, because direct drives, if they're powerful, if they're strong enough, and if they're in 4-wheel drive, they are some of the best. Even if they can take a beating, bad clearance, always. It's never going to have the best clearance. It's worth it. It's worth the impact. It's worth the scratches.
I agree.
It's just so good.
I agree. I very much agree.
I've got a question here about the Aries X1. Are you guys looking to upgrade that as the next Nomad?
Okay, so once again, the RS and the Nomad N1 are still boards that exist, and they still have the same gear drive. The N3 gear drive will trickle down at some point in new generation, new boards. But they're very similar. The difference is they're still a POM gear. They're 30% bigger, but they're still much smaller than the one we had before. But at some point, possibly, we'll have the N3 gear on the RSX1 and Nomad N1.
I really love that weave on the carbon. I don't feel like we had that. I think on the Callies for a while.
Cali were the only ones who had football pattern.
And I love that design. And when I saw that in person, I was like, it's stunning. Yes,
Me
really
too.
love
Yeah, I love it.
That's a good question, Greg. The one Greg is he's a huge fan of Acedeck. He's had a bunch of them.
Oh yeah, great guy,
so,
Greg.
Yeah, he's been a supporter of my channel for a long time too. We've talked a lot, so I appreciate that.
And Greg, if you're asking if the upgrade is going to be possible for your board, yes, absolutely. Like you can
I think that's really good because I suppose it is worrying for the customers because there's such a range of different boards and different tiers. Is the goal with all the boards to have ecosystem compatibility as well? Because it's hard. Because it's hard to be like we want to push it forward, but we don't want to isolate our current gen. But it's like the balance between the whole thing.
That's actually a really good question. Can you answer that question? Is because I get this question all the time. Is that gear drive? People are scared of gear drives because of proprietary ship on that in that aspect of they're like, oh, I can't buy another part off the shelf, whatever it may be with braking. So I mean, are you guys offering or can you offer on the website like extra parts for just those specific things that if people did want to buy extra gears or whatever it may be for previous generations and the generations they have now, is that something that you guys would offer on the website just to have spare parts? Like I know for me personally, I also have a few things that I don't have to wait in the background. So if something does happen, like something that is a catastrophe or something like that,
that's a good point.
Chip a tooth or something like that, to have that ability to be like, you know what, I have two sets in the cupboard.
There you go.
And slap them on. So is that something that you guys would be potentially offering down the road? Because that's number one question I get is
we already have some of those spare parts, but usually, for example, the gears, the POM gears, which I don't know why people think we're breaking a lot. I keep saying this to people. We've only had one real broken gear out of the previous gears, and then we had 2 issues with 2 different customers, one due to user error, another one we're not sure what happened, but we have them already on the website. Usually if a customer contacts us, we can work something out if it's still under warranty or something. And if they have a broken gear later on, we'll always have them. And then the fear of proprietary part, I wouldn't say it's valid here, because if your board has a broken gear, if it's a broken gear only, yes, it is valid. You would still need the same gear, but gears are not proprietary in design, just in size. So it's harder to find the correct size and the correct design.
Right.
But you can always change your gear drive to a different brand. You can always change your truck to a different brand. You can always switch to a belt drive. I wouldn't say you'll ever be in a point where your board is dead because you don't have that specific gear. There's always a solution. But as Greg knows now, I hope, and many of our customers know, we always try to make all of our parts, how you say in English?
Ecosystem.
Backwards compatible.
Yeah,
so
backwards compatible,
everything we're releasing, for example, for the Nix, even the suspension trucks, we're making them available from the 2022 Nix. The gear drives, they're available to the very first RS, but the RS X1 2022, and then we partnered with Lean Power, so they still have gear drive options. Of course, it makes sense. Of course, one, financially, why would we not make other previous products upgradable? I think some companies don't because they want people to buy the new one. But for us, it makes also sense to sell it, to previous customers that want to upgrade their board.
Powerful board, and the 90 FESC Aries X1.
I know it's still an amazing board. Why? Exactly.
Why would you? Why would you want to go any other direction? I mean, I still ride that thing, that Element gear drive. I will not get rid of that board. It's still my favorite. Honestly, it's one of my favorite race boards to be able to hop on and have those street wheels and rip it up and down. So it's like, why would I even think about getting rid of that?
Exactly.
Like if I'm upgrading to down the road, it's like it's not necessary to do so. It's like maybe 2 years, 3 years down the road, if your batteries are going completely dead, then that's a different scenario. But I think power wise and stuff like that, if you're looking to change out gearing or whatever it is, I don't think you need to worry about that. I think you guys have that covered.
No, too much.
I just want to throw in something because we are flying through this interview right now, so we're almost had time. It's absolutely awesome. Just one question I had actually, which was on my channel, and it was relevant to you guys, and I said I would ask you guys and obviously other companies based within China, how, especially for the UK demographic, how does it work for people? Say if I ordered one of the boards and shipped it to the UK, where do the additional fees are part of that, like shipping, import tax and stuff like that? How are those affected into the purchase? Are you aware? I know it's a bit of a tricky one. It's one of the logistic ones I had.
Exactly. I'm not in the logistics, so I wouldn't be able to answer, but I feel like I will know if it was very difficult or much more expensive for UK customers. I know I have a lot of trouble getting stuff from the UK. When I order parts from the UK, from the various brands there, I have to pay an insane amount of stuff. But I haven't heard yet from customers that they're having trouble buying from us. It might be just because we don't have that many that complain. But it's something I'm sadly not able to answer. I don't really know.
No, that's fine. That's a really honest answer. Would the goal to have just the UK demographic or having potential more like outlets within the UK? So if someone was to order, they could ship straight to. Would that be like the ultimate kind of? I
feel like you mean like us having a UK warehouse?
Yeah. For example, there's a question here from James as well. Does Acedeck have a UK shipping facility already? So, for example, like
yes, sadly not yet. We only have 2 warehouses, one in Germany, one in the US. And a third one in Poland, I believe, but we're switching. And in UK, I wish I could say yes, that we would want to have one now. But of course, it depends what kind of market we're able to create for our. And I know that we want to. We have. I believe we have an amazing mountain board. I know there's other amazing mountain boards. I feel like the Apex Predator is top notch as well. So they have and that's amazing for the UK group. You guys have a very beautiful e-skate world there. I feel like your own local scene that is that I wish we had in every country. In France we don't have that. We don't have this amazing Trempa, Apex and other brands that are making boards for us. So it's hard to enter that community, which makes sense. We don't want to also to create any problems, but if we're able to get a bigger UK market, then for sure at some point we'd consider having a warehouse. But for now, I wish I was able to know what kind of VAT you guys have to pay if you order from us. That's a good question. I'll ask myself tomorrow.
No worries. It's one thing I will continue looking into, because obviously it's one thing. These are the smaller things that add on to it. So guys, I'm going to go over. I'm going to give it a 10-minute golden window, which I never do, just because we're really flying in, get some really good questions in. So if you guys have any further questions, please put them in now. Go. For example, Tim's our guy for the UK, for sure. He's one who's doing really good stuff.
Who said this? Please let me take a screenshot.
Don't worry, I'll sort you out after stream. He's one of the content guys over here. He's done really good stuff. So I'll put it off stream as well. So so I've got one question from me. So when a CNC machine and Acedeck fall in love, is this where all these boards come out of? Like, is there like a massive CNC machine in the Acedeck? How did that relationship get? Because I'm surprised you're not bringing out wallets which are CNC'd at this point with every purchase at this point.
We're getting there. No, not wallets, but we realized that we should make some fun accessories for people who own them with the same CNC elements from their trucks. For example, if we have sometimes we have failed samples and we still have a block of aluminum that we're not going to use again to make a new truck, we can use that same block or truck to make a little keyring or something. But yes, for your question, we don't have a CNC machine in our factory. We have a CNC factory we work with that is like a 10-minute drive or 15-minute drive from our factory, which is amazing. That's why I say we go there almost all the time. We're almost at the CNC factory as much as we are in our offices or in our factory. Like I told you, that was from the very start. We always had a lot of CNC parts. From the RS X1, there's still just as many now as on the N3. I think the N3 now has the bash guard. That's an added CNC part. But like I told you, that from the very start, I wasn't there yet, but Acedeck didn't want any cast parts. It was more expensive at first to produce, but now, as I told you, we've built that relationship to a new level, so we're able to get more parts done. But
we love CNC. Gets crazier and crazier.
I feel like Go ahead, Drew.
It is. From the N1,
and better quality.
The X1. And like that, the new N3, I took it off because, like I said, I was swapping bushings out, and just how lightweight. We talked about this on the live stream with Scott and the guys. Just how lightweight it felt, but yet how stable and strong it is, like hitting corners and stuff like that. It was a testament to your guys' design. I mean, it really was.
Thank you.
It was nuts. It's like from iteration to iteration. I know you guys constantly are evolving. Like you said, you're around the corner from it, so you think of something and you draw it up, and you're like here, and bing bang boom. A day later, it's in your shop. So that's great. That's quick turnaround time for you guys is crucial, I think, for what you are doing with there. Like Thomas said, Acedeck and CNC machine make a baby.
Exactly, and we're getting better also at designing the CNC parts. Like our new trucks, you don't have them, Thomas, but you have the new hubs, for example. They're much lighter than our previous CNC trucks. The hubs, and then the entry trucks are, everyone's telling us they're crazy light, but they're just as durable. We're just able to remove some of the, when you do sculpture work on machinery, CNC work, you try to find,
fine tuning it, because on the I have a set. I'm looking at a set, the N1 right in front of me. The edges. So like first off, it's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. But the edges, like this is like a 3-piece like a BBS wheel style almost. If you know what I'm talking about in the race world. What you mean. I was a huge car enthusiast beforehand, but it is absolutely stunning, the work and stuff like that you're going in. And this is just a production hub, in the sense of production hub. It's not like a crazy aftermarket hub. This is what comes on your board. But
by stock,
from the other one, the edges were sharp. Like if I ran my finger on the other edges on the original wheels to these ones now, it's the first thing I did. I put my finger in there and I wasn't catching my finger on anything in there. And I was like, damn, they really even went further in that sense.
The first ones were too, I know, exactly.
They were a little sharp.
I cut myself, I think, on the first serves. I remember I was afraid, did I get my shot? Did I get my, of course, everything's fine. But yeah, we're getting better. They look better. They're lighter. And weight is, of course, one of our concerns. Making big battery balls is heavy, so we have to find places to make them lighter.
I love the fact that, do you know what, it's using this is huge for me, push fit is all the range. I remember, I'm supposed to speak quite freely on this one, my Tramper's gear drive was driving me nuts, and then push fit design is like, it's just the way to go. But yeah, we've got about 5 minutes left, so Oliver, I'm going to leave 5 minutes for you. Anything you want to announce, anything you want to talk about, please speak now.
First, I just want to thank you, Thomas, and of course Drew as well for having me here. It was amazing. I'm very happy you can talk about Acedeck, and I really love working with them. Like I said, I've been skating for 10 years, so being able to work on these boards that are every time my ideal board, it's amazing. And then I've been watching you guys for a while now, and it's good to get to know you guys. And the announcement, I guess, that we've made public already. We're going to be at EskateCon. I'm going to be at EskateCon. I'm gonna be able to meet you guys in real, and also say hi to any of our customers or fans or haters, whoever wants to say hi to us. The door is open.
I'll see you in the parking lot.
Yes, with a CNC bat, and then I want to say hi to everyone in the comments. Thank you for your questions. I want to say hi to Lua Stone. He's a previous roommate in Austria, a guy I lived with, and someone that is also a very big e-skate aficionado and also a big feedback guy for our boards. I get to test the boards when I'm not in China. He gets to test them with me, so it's part of him also that the boards are getting better. But thank you to everyone in the comments. James, of course, you were on point. And Tim Wood, I know Tim Wood, of course, from he has a channel, right? He has a YouTube channel.
Yeah. I'm just because you mentioned James, I'm going to scroll back. No, not that one. Not that one. 1 second. I'll find it. 1 second.
No worries, Anacraft, for your rent. It's all good, man, for the pop-up. Pop-ups are annoying, I agree. I just wouldn't say it's personal information, but yes. No worries. Thank you. Acedeck Aimboards collaboration. I feel like we're already collaborating because EskateCon is an aimboard project, and I've been loving right now. They're amazing. Just want to say, if for the people that are not aware, EskateCon is of course an insane amount of work, and aimboards and Mike and they're all been amazing and super easy to work with. So if anyone from aimboard is here, thank you.
Definitely.
Collaboration, I don't know yet for the balls, but yeah, it's a pleasure to work with them for EskateCon. It's a big event,
I was going to say,
great.
I was going to say it's been really good talking to you, and I really respect the transparency and whatnot. And like we were talking about things we want to do, maybe some videos and shoot, and you're like, I want everyone involved, and I think that's really admirable to say. I'm just gonna.
If there's a last message I want to say, I think it's because e-skate is amazing, but we're all having trouble to growing the sport. It's not really bigger than it was 2 years ago. The number of people riding, the number of people buying boards, they're just buying from different brands. And I think the only way we can make the sport bigger is if we don't shell up, not just as brands, but also as a sport. You know, we have to include people like on e-trikes and everything, and UCs, and try to make the sport bigger than it is. Because for e-skate to survive, we need more people. So the more we can spread that and collaborate with people, the better it is.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be the place to be. So if you booked it,
what are you flying in?
I am arriving on the 1st to get some boards.
We can hang out there. Yeah. We can hang out.
Yeah.
Cool. Right. Anything else you want to say, Drew, before we wrap it up?
No. I mean, you guys have answered a lot of questions here. I think the transparency, like Thomas said, is fantastic. I think that, especially in this industry, in years ago, you know, a lot of Chinese companies had incredible bad reputations, but I think you guys are changing the face of that. And I really do applaud you for the amount of effort and everything you guys are putting in there. I mean, there's without challenges, I'm sure. And but I know that when it comes to the e-skate industry, when you guys release a board, people listen, people watch, people are like, they're blown away by the specs. I've had other companies, other people come to me and go, how the hell are they doing this? And I'm like, I don't know. I was like, I don't have the answer for that, but I think you guys are when I always say knock it out of the park, I think you guys really are every time, just lining it up and knocking it out of the park.
Much appreciated.
So, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to e-skate-con.
Yeah, me too. It's going to be fun.
And
anyone who wants to say, sorry, if I may say, wants to ask more questions after this, they can message me on Facebook or on the Facebook group. I'm always open to questions, concerns, criticism, anytime. Not just this live, but whenever.
Yeah, we'll hang around for like a couple of minutes afterwards in the chat if anyone's got any last questions. But yeah, I'll wrap it up here. I will stop that a second. But I'll say thank you, Drew, for co-hosting and show your engagement in this. It's been good fun and good to start up your day. It's good fun. Oliver for being super transparent. And I don't know about you, but I know for me, Drew, I warm to a company so much more when they're like, we don't want you to say this thing's amazing. What I want you to do is work with us to make the product better. And that's it's been gospel throughout the whole interview today, which is about being transparent and proven product, and it is proof in the pudding with what you guys are releasing. So I'll say really great work, and it's really great to finally meet you in person. Well, we're going to meet you in person, you know, a couple of weeks. I'll be sick. We'll do some shooting.
2 weeks, a bit more than 2 weeks.
I can't wait. Guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel. Also check out Drew for more Acedeck content, because he's got a variety of other things that we haven't featured on the channel, so please check that out. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to finish the stream there, and thank you so much for taking part, and thank you guys for being part of me with this live interview today. It's an absolute fun blast here, so thank you so much. So I'll see you guys later. Peace.
See you soon. Bye-bye.